that this is the 15th anniversary of 9/11. I've been watching a lot of already coverage on the History Channel and PBS and things like that, sort of reliving it from that day, and it's amazing. 15 years later, those feelings just come flooding back.
But it freaked me out a lot because I actually had a cousin that was working in the Pentagon at the time, so of course I wanted to know if she was okay, wanted to make sure everything was going to be all right with her, and luckily she was. But she did tell us later, I guess there's 17 miles worth of floor space in the Pentagon, and she was fortunately on the other side, but she could still feel the impact. She could still feel it rumble.
I was in room 115, and we were watching our TV. When we heard about it, Mrs. Terlesky came over and told me about it. We turned on our TVs and we watched it live. And I remember seeing the second plane hit the building. I remember how horrified I was when the buildings collapsed, and how we watched the whole thing live. It was horrifying.
Seeing that second plane come in on the screen, I was talking to my husband on the phone, and it was just unbelievable. The shock, disbelief all day.
Seeing how people reacted, how people pulled together, how something as terrible as that can still be inspiring and unifying, and the good, if it's all possible, that can come out of such a tragedy like that.
Because the one thing I can remember from 9/11 is being afraid. I was afraid for the students in school. We had no idea what was going on. I was afraid for my family, and I was afraid for my country.
I remember I was home sick with the flu, watching it on TV and thinking it had to be just an accident, and then finally realizing that it wasn't, and how our country was going to be different forever, and how sad I felt, and how much it hurt really for everybody that suffered from it.
I remember I was at the dentist office actually, and I was sitting in the waiting room, and I saw the first plane hit, and I thought it was an accident. I thought somebody was just not where they were supposed to be. But then as soon as I saw the second plane hit, I realized that things were never going to be the same, and that our country was attacked. It was something that I'll never forget.
On September 11, 2001, I was a freshman at YSU, and I remember we were in art class, and my professor turned on the TV, and we actually witnessed the second plane flying into the second tower in the World Trade Center. And it was scary, because at that point we didn't know how many other planes there were out there. It was still happening as we were watching, so we were scared. We were all told to go home actually that day.